Howdy ho, BCTVites. It's 5:45 p.m., which means it's time for BCTV's weekly media roundup. 5:45 live on deck tonight. We'll talk about the charges filed in the murder investigation of Sultan Rashid. The Select Board approves an option agreement that could lead to the purchase of the Reformers Black Mountain Road space as the police fire upgrade drama heats up. We'll get you more info on the arson investigation on Vulgar Street and much, much more. All that in just 15 minutes, so stick with us right here on 5:45 Live. With that, welcome back to this November 25th, 2015 edition of 5:45 Live. It's a Wednesday edition of 5:45 Live as BCTV gets set to close for the Thanksgiving holiday break. So we'll be broadcasting this through an extra 2 days here, but if you are catching this on replay, despite a few Thanksgiving-themed calendar items, we've still got plenty of headlines to keep it relevant through the next week. And we're going to start off here launching into the headlines and talking about the case of Sultan Rashid, reported by state police initially as simply an untimely death. Investigators have now charged 39-year-old Sharon, Vermont resident Leonard Moffat with first-degree murder. And they've cited cell phone records, surveillance video, and eyewitness testimony, including the testimony of a resident who purchased cocaine from Rashid prior to his meeting with Moffat, a meeting prosecutors believe led Moffat to shoot and kill Rashid by shooting him in the temple over a disputed $10,000 in drug money owed by Moffat to Rashid. Now we're going to keep you abreast of all the happenings in this story as we get them, but in the meantime, we're going to keep going in the headlines, and that'll take us to the Brattleboro Select Board as it's budget season, and they continue their streak of meetings every week. All right, well, with the police fire upgrade mantle being picked up once again, and with the Select Board approving a purchase option agreement for the Reformer-occupied Black Mountain Road space, and with a series of 3 very in-depth public info meetings on the current upgrade proposals all in full swing, the once stymied upgrade project seems to be back on track. Now, the project, which saw the Select Board pull the financial e-brake on in the spring of 2014 following a townwide budget rejection by a referendum, got some detailed presentation work, as well as an anticipated dose of debate at the town's first of 3 identical public info nights hosted last weekend at Green Street School. And BCTV news specialist James Bansleben was there to gather some footage of the proceedings.
Town meeting would have to authorize that money be spent for this purpose, which is different from the purpose for which it was borrowed.
Now, a few quick clips of the town presenting on the police fire upgrade projects. That's one of 3 identical public info meetings, and BCTV will be there this coming Monday at Academy School to document it with the full camera and ASL coverage, and we'll post that at BrattleboroTV.org. But a few clips of what to expect from that in the meantime. All right, still more Select Board headlines to talk about here. With all the police fire upgrade drama and general budget talks dominating the Brat SB, the final approval to the town's massive zoning rewrite may have flown a little under the radar. But after nearly 2 years of work gathering and honing down on a combination of field research and local public input, the town's Planning Services Department and Planning Commission got the final seal of approval on their completely rewritten land use regulations and zoning districts this past week.
We've had a significant number of public hearings at the Planning Commission level, as required by law. And we've had a range of information gathering meetings that the Planning Commission held and the Planning Department held. We've had informational meetings here at Select Board, and Planning Commission has finished its work and presented us with a proposed final draft.
Now, to find all the details on the completely rewritten land use regulations and zoning districts, you can find all that info at brattleboro.org. All right, next up in our stories here, The NEA Town grant-winning From the River to the River project kicked off their efforts this week with a volunteer-driven day of view clearing to reveal the river off Depot Street across from the Whetstone Station, and BCTV ED Core Trowbridge was there to gather this interview clip to supplement the many photo offerings of volunteers in action, as the dedicated group managed to wrap the originally slated 2-day project in just a single day.
This project is From the River to the River, and we had a community volunteer effort here on the bank of the Connecticut River here at the Archery Building, and we had a remarkable turnout with such effort that to take out dead trees in Bittersweet, and there was no possibility to see even a peak of the river before.
All right, time to move on, and as promised in our coming up teaser, we'll talk about the Valgar Street fire. As investigation into that fire earlier this month continues, with state investigators convinced that the blaze's derivation lies somewhere with arson, but with no official charges filed, officials have resorted to offering a $5,000 reward in hopes of eliciting additional information from the public. Now, for more on this story, we've got a BCTV flashback, which includes coverage of the fire courtesy of our hardworking 545 Live intern Abby Sherlock, James Banslaben, Joe Bushy, and Esler Oreste.
45 children and adults were evacuated from a Valgar Street apartment building after a fire early Saturday morning. Fire Chief Mike Bukasi made the call to bring in all off-duty personnel after arriving at the scene, and later brought in 6 more engines and several ladders. Bukasi wanted to be able to search the whole building and ensure everyone was found and safe. Due to varying levels of heat and smoke damage in the apartment building, the residents are living at the Gibson-Aiken Center until the state inspects the building for safety again. The fire was declared under control 2.5 hours after it began, and there were no injuries.
All right, next up, American Legion Band is in the news here. For that, back into the close-up we go for the full story. Brattleboro's Post 5 American Legion Band was in Baltimore earlier this fall to compete and win against Legion bands from across the nation in the 97th Annual American Legion National Convention Band Competition. And the Legion's own video historian, who dons a 545 Live news gathering cape by night, Russ Graybeck, was there to document some of the prep work for the award-winning performance. All right, with that, it's time to launch into our BCTV video calendar, which is all sponsored by the Brattleboro Savings and Loan, as their generous contributions to BCTV each year help fund a weekly look at area upcoming events. And we'll start by talking about some Thanksgiving happenings around town, including talking about tomorrow, Thanksgiving Day's event at the River Garden, as a dedicated corps of volunteers continues to provide free food and community camaraderie with their annual gathering that starts at noon and runs through 5 p.m. again at the River Garden in downtown Brattleboro. Now, for more on the event, we spoke last fall with organizers about the sense of community that accompanies the classic menu of food items.
We're celebrating the 43rd annual Brattleboro Community Thanksgiving Dinner. It's free. It's happening at the River Garden from 12 to 5 on Thanksgiving. There's music playing. All of the food has been donated from local farms, and it's completely volunteer run. We have about, I think, 80 volunteers making this happen. And so it's open to everybody. We serve 500 to 700 meals. And we just want to invite everybody who doesn't have plans for Thanksgiving to come out and be a part of the community and eat some food, enjoy music, and have a good time.
All right, next up on our BCTV video calendar, Black Friday weekend, of course, marks a nationwide consumerism craze, with box stores and online retailers enticing holiday shoppers with massive reductions, but with local businesses hoping an increasingly fleeting hope that area residents will return their holiday shopping attentions to the local level. The Putney Craft Tour, just north of Brattleboro, has taken to using the Black Friday holiday weekend to attract tourists and locals alike to check folks off their Christmas lists by picking up a wide variety of arts and crafts, following the tour around the Putney area and its 30 artist-rich experience, which includes everything from paintings to ceramics, glass blowing, hand weaving, loom weaving, and much, much more. Now, for all the info, which includes details on all the various artists, how to get to their studios, how to tour around, there's downloadable PDFs and maps. It can all be found at putneycrafts.com. All right, that just about does it here for our special Wednesday pre-Thanksgiving edition of 545 Live. We'll be back in just 10 days' time as BCTV's close this coming Friday, but we'll return a week from then right here on BCTV Comcast Cable Channel 8, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. In the meantime, make it a safe and happy Thanksgiving holiday, and we'll see you next time.